the whole question of whether one needs to check for Jewish identity when it comes to marriage and so on and so forth. And we've established the halakha and also the accepted practice nowadays. Having discussed that, the next question in this siman is, fine, someone is Jewish, male and female are Jewish. Does one now need to check whether there is any what we call pesulei kahal, something which is in the family which perhaps invalidates them to marry one another? So let's say if there is potentially, does one need to check maybe there's a mamzer in the family? Maybe if it's a kohen getting married, is there a halal? A halal is someone kohen's not allowed to marry, and so on and so forth. Does one need to check for pesulei kahal, meaning things which, when you're Jewish, but still invalidate you to be able to get married? Is there something which needs to be checked according to halakha and also in practice nowadays? So this is a big topic discussed in two different sugyot in the Gemara, one in Kiddushin and one in Ketubot. And without going into all the Gemarot, what comes out really are three main opinions in the Rishonim with regards to all of this. Because there is a Gemara which says, Kol mishpachot beheskat kashrut. All families are considered to be kasher, and one doesn't need to check, one doesn't need to be concerned that there may be something pasul within the family. But there are contradictions to this, and therefore we find in the Rishonim different approaches how to reconcile these Gemarot and how to bring them together, and there are three main approaches. The approach of Rashi is as follows. When we know a family within the community and there's been no rumors or nothing, there's been no concern, then no checks are needed in all circumstances, both for Yisrael getting married and for a Kohen getting married. In all circumstances, if we know the family, we apply the rule, Kol mishpachot beheskat kashrut, and you don't need to do any checks, you don't need to do any investigation to check whether this male and female are compatible with another from a halachic stand view. It's fine to do so. If, however, there is an ir'ur is a kind of rumor, we'll define that. But let's define that now. According to Rashi, ir'ur is a rumor. The Rambam understands ir'ur as being two witnesses have testified that there is a problem within the family. For Rashi, it's just a rumor. But if there's no two witnesses and there's no rumor that there is a pasul, there is something wrong within the family is known, we can assume they are married and they are able to marry one another. The only time when you need to do checks and investigations, and these investigations in the Mishnah can go back up to a number of generations, is when a family comes and we don't know anything about them. Bami merchakim, it's come from afar, we don't know who the family is. Then you need to do investigations a few generations up to check that there's no mamzer and there's no problems within the family. But generally speaking, a couple come, they're established within the community, they come to get married. As long as there's no rumor, as long as there aren't any witnesses who are saying that there's a problem with the family, one can marry one another. That is the opinion of Rashi. And the Rambam basically followed this. Rabbeinu Tam, Rashi's grandson, has a different approach, and his approach is that in all circumstances you never need to check. Even if there is a rumor, there is no need to check for pesulei kahal. We can assume, we stand strongly by the principle, kol mishpachot beheskat kashrut, all families are assumed to be kasher. When there is a rumor, then only a family of a kohen needs to check, because there are more problems with a kohen than regular people. So when there's a kohen getting married, and the kohen, there's a rumor around him or her, then you need to do bedikot, then you need to check upwards and see what's going on. That's the opinion of Rabbeinu Tam, that generally he's the most lenient. So generally speaking, you never need to do any, Israel never needs to do any check. Even if there is some kind of rumor, still we stand by kol mishpachot becheskat kashrut, and no checks are needed to be done. Only a kohen getting married, and there's a rumor, then you need to do checks. Ramban Nachman, his view is that a kohen always needs to check. When a kohen's getting married, he always needs to check whether there's a rumor or not. And a Yisrael only needs to check if there is a rumor. So Ramban is the most stringent in that a kohen, he's necessitating to check in all circumstances, even when there is no rumor, but a Yisrael doesn't need to check. These are the three main opinions in the Rishonim. And next time we'll discuss the halakha and practice nowadays.